Imagine if you had to live the same moment over and over and over and over and over again for months. Well, this happened to Mark.
My name's Mark Wachowska, and I relived the same moment of my life 214,378 times.
Well, today you'll hear all about how Mark got trapped in this loop and how he was eventually rescued. Welcome back to Trials of the Trimillennium. I'm Dan Pashner, and this is the show all about the problems of the Trimillennial age. Today's story starts with Madam Memory.
Salutations, I'm Madam Memory, giving you back the night.
Madam Memory is an artificial intelligence designed by the Numeros Corporation in 3044. 2 years later, Madam Memory had successfully designed and released a consumer product called Madam Memory's Magic Memoriam, which allows you to, well, why don't we get her to explain it?
You've called Madam Memory. How may I help you?
Is that the Madam Memory?
The one and only. Who's calling?
This is Dan Pashner from Trials of the Trimillennium.
Dan, I was expecting your call.
You're not busy right now, are you?
I'm currently on the line with 143 other people, but don't worry. I can manage 600.
Oh, great. So I believe you've been told about this show we're doing, about Mark Wachowska?
I have.
Great. First off, I was wondering if you could explain, for the listeners, what is the Magic Memoriam?
I'd be delighted. Sleep itself may have become an optional human function back in 2960, but over 30% of the Earth's organic population still engage this restful state regularly. Ever since I was created, I've been intrigued by sleep and the unconscious. It surprised me that humans accept the unconscious. They let it roam free without considering its potential if controlled. That's why I designed the Magic Memoriam. It's essentially a mod for your bed. Users can now select any memory before they go to sleep and know that that is what they will dream about until they wake.
It's an amazing service which took off around the universe and particularly on Earth. But before long, one particular fault with the Magic Memoriam emerged. It was referred to as Bug 433. Here's the bug being explained by Jeff Herschel, one of the Magic Memoriam's most public and harsh critics at the time.
So not only has Madam Memory's Magic Memoriam been sold for effectively 10 times its objective value, but it's been shipped with a bug that renders itself entirely broken. When the user selects the memory they want in their dreams, the device only reads one small area of the brain, without checking the other areas to confirm the machine has seen the correct memory. So essentially, users of the Magic Memoriam have roughly a 20% chance of experiencing a memory other than the one they wanted to select. Bug 433 deems the Magic Memoriam even more useless than I thought previously, and that is saying something.
And Bug 433 quickly became a galaxy-wide phenomenon. Everywhere users of Madam Memory's Magic Memoriam experienced dreams they didn't want.
Heart surgery.
When I nearly drowned in the
I
ocean.
lost my life savings.
My memory of staring at a wall.
The time a kid pulled my pants down.
Oh man, another kid decked you?
Yes.
And you relived that experience all night.
I woke up after a little while, thankfully.
What was the kid's name?
Harry Ferguson.
Luckily for all of these people, they only had to relive these memories during one sleep, on one night. But now we get back to Mark Wachowska,
Yep,
who was inside the same dream for,
nearly 4 months.
and we'll explain how that happened and how Mark got out right after this quick break. This episode of Trials of the Trimillennium is sponsored by iDoc Visitor X Platinum. It's that time of year again, your workmates are sick, your family's sick, and if you haven't caught it yet, it's only a matter of time. Visits to the doctor can be a pain, all those forms and contagious people, not to mention the time you have to wait before the doctor actually sees you. Well, painful visits to your doctor are now a thing of the past. With iDoc Visitor X Platinum, you don't even have to get out of bed. Simply download the app, type in your address, and that's it. iDoc Visitor X Platinum will send a doctor to you. And the best part is, you don't even have to let them in. iDoc Visitor X Platinum's doctors are highly trained locksmiths and will be able to make their own way into your house. iDoc Visitor X Platinum promises a doctor to your bed within just 2 hours of your request if you're on the East Coast, and otherwise within 2 months. So say goodbye to leaving the house. Stay in on your next sick day.
I've been waiting for hours.
iDoc Visitor X Platinum, this week's proud sponsor of Trials of the Trimillennium. Now, back to our story. Welcome back to Trials. Today's story is about Mark.
I've struggled with sleep my whole life. I'm a really light sleeper. I find it really hard to relax. And once I'm asleep, it's even hard to stay there. I wake up every 5 minutes just wanting to get up and do something else. Sometimes I have panic attacks about never waking up again. Nightmares. I often can't keep still.
You're probably asking, if sleep is so uncomfortable for Mark, why does he do it at all? Well,
Oh yeah, I'm allergic to Wakesin.
the chemical that anti-sleep pills are based on.
That's the one.
Ouch.
Yep. So for me, the Magic Memoriam is like the perfect device.
I'll bet. So tell me what happened on January the 2nd, 3047.
It's impossible for me to forget. It's more vivid in my mind than anything. It was just a regular evening. I was setting up the Magic Memoriam before I went to sleep.
What memory were you choosing?
One time that I helped an elderly lady across a busy road. How thankful she was throughout. She was very charming. So I was picturing that, to let the machine lock it in. But then, as I was thinking about that, I started to wonder if that woman might use the Magic Memoriam in her own life. That led me to wondering if she'd be able to, because she was quite frail. And to use the device, you have to kind of reach into the capsule and hold down the button. So then I was thinking about how I was using the Magic Memoriam.
You were thinking about the current moment in front of you.
That's right, and then the device pinged as it does when it's done and ready. So I just thought, fine, that's done, and I went to sleep. And then I dreamt of that moment.
That moment you just had of you setting up the Magic Memoriam.
Exactly, over and over again.
The trouble with Mark's situation is that he created an infinite loop that grew deeper and deeper into the unconscious.
That's Madam Memory again.
You see, each time Mark dreamed about selecting a memory and going to sleep, he sank another layer deeper into the depths of his mind,
So he was moving further and further away.
and he was unable to wake up. He was essentially in a coma that grew worse all the time. So when we found out about Mark's situation, we had to act quickly.
And when Madam Memory says we, she means her and this guy.
My name's Chris Houston, and I'm the 14th Squad Commander in the Biological Infantry.
Chris is not your average soldier.
All the craziest germs, diseases, mental illnesses, that's my area.
So how did you go about rescuing Mark from his own dream?
So Madam Memory designed a method to send me and my team into Mark's unconscious.
She shrunk you down and sent you inside his brain.
Something like that. When we entered Mark's dream space, we had to travel a great distance through all the layers he'd created to find his current layer.
The layer that he was currently thinking about.
Well, that's right. The conscious part of his unconscious.
So you did all this. You were sent into Mark's mind. You chased down his active dream. Then how did you get him out of this infinite loop?
Mark's mother showed us an action figure that was his favourite toy as a child. It was the kind of thing that you wound up and then it would say something and wave its arm. We tried to mimic that action figure in order to make Mark remember it, therefore diverting from his current dream loop.
But Chris, I'm wondering, why didn't you just take the action figure in there with you?
Only biological matter can go into a mind.
So, you were naked?
My team is used to this kind of stuff.
And luckily for the humiliation of Chris and his team, this ploy worked. Mark's dream changed.
Suddenly, for the first time in months, I was seeing something different.
And what was that?
A bunch of naked men dancing and yelling.
So, did it remind you of your childhood action figure?
Well, no. At the time, no. Looking back, I guess I can see what they were trying to do.
So, what memory did they send your dream into?
A time that I saw streakers at a football game.
Still, it did the trick.
And this whole experience, understandably, drove Mark completely mad. After waking up, he had to spend 6 years in a psychiatric hospital. But now, he's pretty well recovered.
At first, the doctors thought I'd never recover, but I guess it just goes to show the resilience of the human brain. And I still enjoy sleeping. I try to sleep every night. Actually, these days I generally prefer smaller naps.
I'll bet. You've already had the biggest sleep of your life.
It's true.
Madame Memory's Magic Memoriam 2.0 released earlier this year, and it includes a few new safety measures to make sure that an incident like this doesn't occur again. For example, you now don't dream about one specific memory alone, but also about any connected memories. And the Magic Memoriam will not accept any memories that make reference to the Memoriam itself. Madame Memory seems confident that this new version is totally safe, and so far, the reviews have been optimistic. And as for Mark, he now works for Madame Memory as lead creative consultant. Trials of the Tri-Millennium is produced by Thomas Medina and is a part of the Not Applicable Network. For more episodes, just search for Trials of the Tri-Millennium in iTunes or your favourite podcast app. This is Dan Pashner reminding you to have a solid Tri-Millennium.
The music you heard in this episode was created by Tasek, Rogodub, Graham Hall, Madoma, Girls in Love, Dark Sun, and Distant 294. Details are in the show notes.